to Humbro Pie. I'm your host, Jimmy D. With me,
the little pound cake, Diego, right here.
The little pound cake himself. We got ourselves an amazing second round of this Championship Series One Piece Week 3 coming at you right now and real soon. I can't wait to show you guys some of these new deck lists and the new leaderboard from the competition for Week 3. The board is starting to heat up. I believe the first page is already full. With all the first column and 3 weeks of 8 weeks gameplay, we already have a top 8. We got some amazing gameplay for you here. Round 2, we're going to be seeing. Let's get into the actual head setup, shall we?
All right, let's see it.
So, this round, we get to see what looks like we're looking at Charlotte Katakuri? No?
Right now, I think we have on the board, we got Gerpel Dofi, played by Jeffsky over here.
Oh, okay.
Liking it. It's kind of like, I think we were talking about RP Law being the new boogeyman. Mm-hmm. This is something to kind of combat that meta.
Okay.
He's got a couple cards in here that really do some damage against RP Law. Specifically, I think we scrolled down a bit. Sure. Was it his stage, Birdcage right there? Keep going. That 5 cost.
Mm-hmm.
It is specifically made to counter that law. It rests a bunch of 5 costs. If you don't have, if you're not at 10 Dawn, you can KO the 5 costs. It's pretty wild stuff.
Oh, wow!
And he also has a lot of cards that will restand at the end of turn if he's got a certain amount of Dawn. He gets 2 Dawn restand at the end of his turn, part his leader ability. Mm-hmm. So he's got a good amount of defenses. I think it's a good meta pick. It's a good rogue deck into the meta.
All right, I like this. And first off, thank you, Midway Witch. Hello, good to see you. You got yourself entered now. Well done. Mm-hmm. Now, this is the first time I've seen a field card played in a competitive deck.
Okay.
Is this common, or is this something because this is I've been missing several different formats here at this point?
There's certain decks that run field decks or field spells, whatever you want to call it, stage spells. We call them stages here. Gerpel Dofi just utilizes stage. We have my deck that utilizes the Impel Down stage.
I remember seeing that one on play, but maybe I might have missed that.
It's pretty decent. It gives me 1 cycle. It lets me see an extra card every turn, essentially. And then we have, I think the only other one is Sakazuki's right now are playing a stage that minuses cost as well.
Okay.
That they're trying to spice things up with. Every now and then there'll be a stage that's just worth it.
Okay. And how the stage works, is it only 1 up per turn? So if my opponent plays a stage, mine goes away, or I can only have 1 on my side of the field?
Both opponents get a stage section for themselves. So you play a stage out, it's there. If you play another stage, it plays on top of that 1 stage.
Okay. Does it replace the other stage?
Yes.
Okay.
So you only have 1 stage in play at a time.
Okay. Excellent. All right. And I'm noticing a lot of triggered abilities here.
Oh, yeah.
This is a full stack 7, 10, 12 total triggered abilities here. Why do you think this deck runs so many of these?
Well, as you can see, he's got 2 cost abilities, and Gerpel Dofi, its leader abilities, at the end of his turn, he restands 2 Dawn. Mm-hmm. So, yes, they have nasty triggers, both of these defensive cards. We have Spiderweb and Punk Gibson here, but again, and Off-White doesn't have the trigger, but again, they're 2 cost defensive cards that just big powerhouses. Yeah, 2 Dawn will get you 4K in defense anytime.
Wow. That is a lot.
Punk Gibson rests something. I think Off-White restands something, or I think that's the other one. Spiderweb restands something. Off-White, I believe, lets you search.
Okay.
So again, you get utility, you get defense. It's just a good best of both worlds.
Oh, absolutely. And Ver here, coming to the chat, you're saying Kalgara comes out soon? Is this going to be coming out in the new set?
Yeah, so Kalgara is an OP8. Okay. He is the Sky Pia sauce that, I wanted in 05, but, we got it now. He plays a lot of stage, a lot of those upper yards, search the top 5, and he'll replay on top of that to keep searching for stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right. Looking forward to seeing those games. Any spice you see in here that really stands out to you?
He's got it's looking pretty standard for good red-purple stuff. The Douglas Bullet, not the...
Most played?
Not most played. Most people opt for the Kaido or something along those lines, but Douglas Bullet's still nasty.
Okay.
You still get to rest a certain cost, and he gets double attack instead of rush, though.
Oh,
so he does have to maintain on the board at least 1 turn.
All right. So no rush, sacrificing it for a massive double swing here. But I mentioned it's really hard to get rid of a 10K 8 costs.
Some decks can do it.
Yeah.
Some decks can't.
I imagine this would be what Ver is all about. Yeah.
Let's see. Ver Katakuri. Oh, Ver's just going to try to steamroll. If we want to look over Ver's deck right now, Katakuri with the leader ability with 1 Dawn attached, you get to look at your bottom or top life or your opponent's bottom or top life and then decide if you want to move it to the bottom.
Okay. So you can play some mind games with this guy.
Yeah, and then you get another 1,000 on top of that. So just the economy on putting 1 Dawn onto him and getting 2K.
Wow.
So 7K swing for 1 Dawn. It's just wild. And
great on resource management.
Oh, yeah. And then if that's not the worst, as you can see, there's a lot of trigger abilities because that's what yellow does. Ver's is probably going to take a lot of hits, you'll see, and just hope to get trigger out of them and just amass a huge board and just start steamrolling.
Absolutely. A lot of cheap costs here. So he's playing a lot more closer to the lower curve. Something we didn't see from that purple Luffy. So this one's got a lot of 3 drops and the 1 and 3s just for those trigger abilities.
Yeah. Some of those 1s, some of those 3s are going to be some of his 2K, some of his defenses. You know, he's got his 1K searchers and pudding. Capone being one of his 2K defensive cards and one of the best triggers he's probably got. On trigger, he gets to stop one thing from attacking. He just gets to pick it like that.
Wow.
And that doesn't go.
Yeah, so no one.
Oh, yeah. It's, you know.
Nice Kaido you got there. No.
What was it? I got some advice from a player one time. If you see a Katakuri, look at his life and move it to the bottom, just automatically assume it's a beige or a Sanji.
All right. And here's the big hitters here. We have, it looks like Big Mom, Charlotte Lynn.
And this is the tough stuff. People all over the place were like, oh, bad Big Mom. We hate Big Mom. It's so oppressive. For on play, if your leader is Big Mom Pirates, you get to gain a life and destroy your opponent's life.
Wow. Wow.
Pretty tough stuff. So
that is a huge point swing.
Pretty oppressive to do back to back.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But, you know, leaving no Dawn up also is pretty tough because you used to not have a lot of defenses. So it was a really, really risky play. But with these new yellow cards, we got a lot of new defenses. Ver's running one of them, the zero cost 3K defense that most of the other other colors have.
Okay. Just have 1 copy of that, but he's got 4 copies here of 200 million Vatsama.
Oh yeah, Amaru, one of the staples in yellow right now. Just great economy. 2 Dawn, get to increase 3K on something on a body and rest like a, what was this? It was a 4 cost or a 3 cost or less. Anyway, 4 cost or less. That's most blockers in the game. Just rested, and then just a powerhouse swing in. And lastly, we have her running one of the naughty cards. It's going to go away next week. Reject.
Reject?
Yes, it's.
No, that's what I've been called all my life.
No, not here. Only thing we're rejecting is this card in the week.
Okay. This gets a Banhammer along with Katakuri.
Oh yeah, it's pretty tough. So you could pick one of 2. For 4. Yeah, for 4 you can either get rid of a 5 cost or less, so just eliminate something off the board.
Wow.
Or you just you hit your opponent for 1. They can't block it. They can't counter out of it. You just take a life.
Just take a life.
Yeah. Now you can see why it's a bit oppressive.
That's insane. It's just no defense. It doesn't matter what you do. You just take that last.
Life.
Can you take it if there's no life left? Does it just game if they play this card?
No.
Okay, so this is kind of like
this is not a game-winning card now.
Okay, so it's kind of like the double swing thing here. Like you can hit them twice, but they only have 1 life. You're only taking the 1.
Yeah,
and the game's not over.
But again, usually the impetus is to drop the 10 cost Limlin, deplete their life down to 2 to 1.
Sure.
Usually, and then the next turn reject, and then put everything on Limlin and shove.
Oh, just overload. Yeah, and there's nothing they can do about it. Wow, that seems like an incredible strategy. All right.
Let's get into it.
This looks like some amazing 2 different decks here. I can't wait to see who plays this and gets that through here. We got the reigning champ right now, Ver, from last week. He still on the leaderboard, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Versus Jeff, who's also on the leaderboard. I don't remember where his points were, but we're going to find out at the end of the stream who's on top.
So both of these pretty mean contenders going up.
Absolutely.
You got those nice, beautiful alt art cards. You got Ver sporting the OPO3 art leader.
Nice.
We can see the different styles going on there. Going with the monochromatic style in 03, and then we got the fan favorite having the gang all back there for 04.
Really enjoy the fact that the way the economy works for One Piece, where they have the cheaper version, so it enables more people to be able to afford the game, as well as having something of high value here. You can see here, Ver has his Katakuri in a case. He wants to protect that thing so well.
So we got Ver keeping his card. He even got the Katakuri sleeves. My man is repping deep.
It's one of personally one of my favorite fights with Luffy was against Katakuri. That fight, if you haven't seen it yet, go look it up. It is so good. It was a real game
He's
changer.
like, nah, I want that one to be on the bottom. Nah.
Yeah. It didn't want to come, it doesn't come. There you go. All right, so this looks like it was he didn't even look at his hands. So
this is definitely a mulligan, yeah. He's like, I can go with this heap. I have to go with this heap. Let's get turn 1.
And Jeff is such a fast player. Like, he's been doing this a while.
Yeah, he's had a lot of practice with this. I feel like, he's had it, I want to say, he's had it built somewhat. He played in 04 with Gerpel, so he's got the swing of things going usually. He's just adding some new cards to the cycle. We got Verp having his turn 1 play, playing a searcher out. That's what you want to do. Trying to find those big bombs or something else.
Mm-hmm. Starting off with a Katakuri. That's a good start,
yeah, it's the only one he's got in the deck, so might as well take it. Guarantee.
The rest of those cards go in the bottom of the deck? Makes sense.
Bottom of the deck, any order,
Yeah.
And
for certain mill decks, maybe that.
The casual play, usually you want to just go like, whatever. I'm not picking the order, but if you're going for the sweats, you're picking like, the best cards to the top. I'm going to see what we get.
Yeah, right.
We're going the distance. I'm seeing these cards today.
So 3 Don for Dolphy here. Let's see what he's going to come out. Looks like he's tapping and setting aside 2.
He's setting aside 2. He's probably playing one of his searchers. Oh, we're playing a sugar. All right. Rest. Sugar, one of his utilities. Rests pretty much mostly. It was on play. If you play something, it can rest it.
Okay. And that Charlotte was a blocker, I assume that's why he rested it? Or just...
I think he's just doing it because it was there to do it too.
Okay. All right. It has to pick some target, I assume.
Yeah. Okay. Most of the cards have May in front of them, so you can choose to do that. But a lot of the times, you are kind of forced into, okay, well, it says I have to do this. Ooh, we got Ver with the Kikunojo.
Okay.
But again, you're seeing that he rests it on play, resting the sugar. So leaving it vulnerable for
a swing like this right here.
For a swing, yep.
Yeah. So the real strategy here is just getting them to rest so they can remove some of these key pieces.
Yeah. So what Ver just did is he baited the sugar to get rested, and then he swung at it with the pudding.
And with just on 0 attack and the pudding, this is going to be a really hard cell to try to defend.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we can see Ver really emphasizing controlling the board, making sure it stays nice and clean.
Yeah, we just saw... I think Jeff played the off-white so he could get a search, and he searched a Diamante off of that. Okay. So, again, defensive capabilities with utility as well. Mm-hmm. A little simple 5K slap. Where we go?
Going into lead, I assume.
Oh, yeah. We'll put that pressure on.
Nice little 1K. Is it a 1K?
Yep. We got Birdcage on the field. The stage is live.
Already talked about
it's set. This is the Birdcage. Everyone goes in, and Luffy comes out with everybody.
So this is a perfect turn for Jeff, would you say, right?
Let's see. He's got 2 back up. Maybe he would have wanted to develop a body, but the Birdcage does no, it doesn't hit the Kikunojo because it's not 5.
Okay.
But setting it up for any other nonsense that comes his way. So like the Satori's in his life, Parasparrows, all those little 5Ks that you saw, they kind of add up.
So we got a 7K at life here. Oh, so he gets to look. This is part of that effect we were talking about, putting on top or bottom.
Yep. He's like, that's got a trigger. I don't want you to have it.
All right, so we're going to see Jeff, see if he has a trigger here. Ripping real quick. Jeff, one of those really fast players here. Just knows the way that turn's going to play out. Is that Sanji not a rush?
No, so he's a blocker.
He's a blocker, okay.
And with the trigger of, you can play him out of trigger with discarding 1 card. Solid card to have at the bottom of your life. Really turns the game over on some people, that they invest everything in the last swing. That's like, oh, I got a blocker, sorry.
I saw it. All right, we'll let this thing go in here. It looks like he's playing 7 to lead.
7, going 7 in. Gonna demand cards or that blocker. He's like, you give me that body or you give me cards in hand.
Okay.
He's gonna give me that body.
Take the blocker. All right. Interesting thing about Sanji, I was watching this new fighting game that they were trying to roll out here. Sanji actually does 0 damage to any female fighters in this fighting game. I think that was absolutely lore accurate, and I really appreciated that. I don't know if it's going to help him be real competitive in this format.
I was going to say, way to kick him out of any tier list. But yeah, let's go.
Do we know of any Sanjis that have like added abilities where he can't attack female characters?
Not so far.
Okay.
Not so far.
So we can actually see the one and only time Sanji will ever attack a female.
Right now.
Okay. All right. Well, I haven't seen anything yet. He's just going after Doffy. So we got some defensive here.
So this is probably a 7K swing coming in for Ver. We got 2 8
2 cards from hand. Oh, here comes that big mom. This is the big one, right?
So this is the one from the starter deck.
Okay.
Akin to the 10 drop mom, it does take and give a life, but it gives the option to the opponent. So he can either destroy a life from his end or give Ver a life.
Wow. Still just able to pump right back up.
And then an 8 body. So yeah, as we can see, Ver is sitting at 5 life after taking 1. You know, he's fine.
Yeah.
Next turn he's going to be at 9. He can drop that Katakuri, put one of those cards back into his life, be at 6, then drop a big mom, be at 7, and just keep it going.
Just keep the train going. Good grief. I noticed he hasn't untapped the 6K. Is there a reason she's been rested this whole time?
So that is in due part to the birdcage. I believe cards that are 5 cost or less are rested
constantly, just permanently.
I believe so.
But this is only your opponent's side of the field,
I think it's both sides of the field. And the way that Goofy gets around that is a lot of his cards have texture and have an effect that will restand them at the end of the round.
Okay, all right.
So Diamante,
so an added ability would restand it.
So Diamante is a blocker. Okay. But if your leader has 2 Dawn up, he will be restood at the end of your turn, which in One Piece and end turn effects are at the choice of the player. So you can choose which end turn effects to activate before.
Okay. Oh, get an Uda.
We got another blocker going down. All right, nice.
But it notably didn't have an on-play effect, so it's just a blocker with what other ability?
Uda on block has one of our first on block abilities. She gets to rest a 4 cost or less when she blocks.
Okay. So kind of taking out a lot of blockers and other stuff from the other opponent's
side. That or eliminating an attack that is coming at you. So like Kikunojo.
Yeah.
So it's a 4 cost. So if Ver decides to swing with anything but the Kikunojo first, he could rest it. Right. Or is it rest or return to hand? Either one. Oh, Ver taking a peek see at the life. He was like,
yeah, leave it there.
You could have
so
it. So he
gets to, we're going to work on some timing here because I think that's really interesting. He gets to look before he has to take action to block. So this gives him added information to say this is definitely not going to be a trigger because if he doesn't move it, it's not a trigger, right?
Yeah.
Or if it is maybe a trigger that's not going to matter. Or what do you think?
Usually, yeah.
Okay. So he left it there, which then gives information to Jeff here to say I probably should defend at this point, knowing that the top card is probably not going to be that useful.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that kind of gives you some insight, but also given the way this turn is going, you know that Big Mom is coming, you know that life is going to be gone anyway. You want to stay at that 3 life so that if he does Big Mom, you're still at 2, you're still kind of healthy, you can kind of pressure him into stuff. So that's why he's kind of protecting this one off because he knows it's probably going to see the garbage in the next turn or 2.
Makes sense. All right, so that was an 8K at lead. Oh, another big mom.
So he has to decide his big choice: destroy or charity. Back up to full health for Ver, maybe. He's giving it charity.
All right,
charity has been given. You rarely see it. Usually, you take it and you just pressure.
It's just a commanding lead to this point. 5 life. All the work that Doffy's done at this point just to get him down is just basically erased. And he didn't swing with the big mom. Is he afraid of a counterattack to?
Oh, he's got the 2 blockers up, so why keep a bad thing? Keep the bodies up, let it keep going, and then eventually, when you have 4 or 5 bodies that are over 7K, and then that's when you roll in.
Okay, so this is a strategical defensive posture here.
Okay. Also, it gives Jeff another thing to swing at outside of
lead.
Out of a leader and giving opportunity to trigger cards out of life. Because again, yellow is all about triggering cards.
Absolutely.
So we're going to have another 7 into life. Sure, why not? You see, oh,
do we have a trigger?
Well, could be.
Maybe. That's an option, right? It is optional?
It is optional, yes. You don't have to trigger right out of your life. It is an option to choose.
Interesting. So it looked like he might have had something and put it in. Mm-hmm. Or is that kind of like the very special where he makes you think he has a trigger every time?
You know, you can do it as mind games, but yeah, a lot of times it's just good nature to flip the card over to see if it has a trigger before you return it to hand. Because if you return it to hand, you know, people will argue, oh, was that the card you pulled, or did you just like, you know, magic hands me something else? What's going on? Let me see your sleeves.
All right, so on play, got another searcher, got himself a second copy of
another blocker of Diamante.
Yeah, Diamante here.
Probably gonna play it down so we get the 2 blockers up because we got a nasty board coming at me afterwards. It looks like.
So he's got a 1 blocker with Uda, and and notice he didn't restand his Diamante here.
Well, he is attacked with it at the beginning of the turn.
Okay,
because it will restand at the end. So
all right, so 7 going to life.
Another 7. Ver will gladly take it. It's more cards in hand. Yeah, that's a life that wasn't there before, so why not?
Right.
Playing the Diamante again. Restand 2. He gets to restand the Diamante.
And Birdcage is going away. Why did that happen?
I believe. What was it? I think at 10 dawn it eliminates itself.
Ah, okay. So this is a nice little slowdown card, but it does have its own time clock. Well, obviously the Birdcage has its clock.
Close down, yeah.
So it closed at its peak when it hit the 10 dawn and then it goes away.
And the way you stop that as purple Dofi is you play certain purple cards that eliminate that minus your dawn, like the Douglas Bullet, the Queen, and things like that.
Okay.
Keeping you from getting to 10 dawn.
That makes sense. Yeah. And keep that lockdown here. But now the Birdcage is away. Is this the open field that Vera's been looking for this? Maybe Alpha Swing?
A little bit, but Birdcage just kind of do some. So at the end of it, when it closes up, it will destroy all the five drops as well. So because of that, the pudding's gone and the Kikunojo's gone. And then activating the Kikunojo effect, which being if your opponent is 3 life or less, you get to gain a life. So that's why Vera is already almost back to full health again, even though he just took 2 hits.
Really managing that life here.
Oh yeah, I mean this is what Katakuri does. He just adds life, makes you sweat. Like, oh, is that going to be a trigger? Oh, geez, is this a reject? Is this a no Nami? Is this a Mario? Is this or that? So many little things that can just happen, and you got to be aware of.
And notice the attention to detail here of the wind attack with which one of your characters here. Lead has the ability to check the top card, and we already knew Ver knew what that top card was. So if you're following me here, he knew what he knew to know that he knew.
Yeah. Because Ver has used the ability on Jeff, I believe, to look at his life every single time. So he knows what those 2 cards are.
Well, he knows the bottom one and the one that we just saw. So this would be the turn with the only unknown that I'm aware of, because you can only manipulate top and bottom. Right?
If I remember correctly, this is going to be a trigger card for Jeff. Whether or not he does activate the trigger, we will see right now if he doesn't block. I was
kind of curious if he was going to take the active Katakuri look ability to see what that card might have been.
So versus the 10.
Yeah, thanks. I see what you're doing there. Thanks, Divine.
Also, it be what it be, how it do.
So we're gonna eat a block.
I think we might be blocking this. Are we thinking about countering out as well to keep the body on board?
So you can block and counter. That's interesting. Okay.
Well, we're just eating it.
So now Katakuri's got to be able to just get in. Let's see. He's got a full board. How many rushers does a Katakuri deck play with?
I think it was only a couple of rushers in yellow. Ver, I don't think runs any of them, but it's the starter Katakuri from the Big Mom starter deck.
So this is the one he hadn't seen yet here.
So it's like it was a 2K.
But he's got to remember what that first one was, because he bombed that real quick. So this is where it comes in handy playing like Ver, who's been playing this game for a very long time.
So he's going to leave it up there.
Okay.
And if I saw that correctly, it looked like it was a baby 5, so it is a 2K. So it is worth Jeff having.
Now, is there a rule about writing down the cards you've seen on paper?
A note taking?
Yes.
Yeah. No note taking.
It's a no second.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all in the head. All right. Oda really valuing the players to really understand the game, the mechanics, and remember those cards. That's really good. I like that. Ooh,
so
10
so that is
Katakuri?
as an 8-drop Katakuri. And what it does, it can take an 8 cost or less from either your side of the field or the opponent's side of the field, put it to the top and bottom of their life.
Okay, but if it's on the top, at the end of the turn, if he doesn't flip it down, it just goes away, right?
No, that is only specific for, what was the leader? Is that black, yellow, ace?
Okay.
Yeah, or blue, yellow, ace, excuse me. Everyone else outside of Luffy and that blue, yellow, ace, if it's face up in your life, if it's face down in your life, you still interact with it as a normal life card.
Okay.
So if Vera were to put a character card in his life that had a trigger, he activates the trigger when he sees it.
Absolutely. Kind of risky business giving your opponent an extra life here, but
a little bit. But you also know the math now. So Vera knows that there's a 1K, a 2K in there. So if Jeff were to be down to 1 card, he can do the math about like, oh, I got to hit this, and he can't block out of that.
All right, so we're going to see him save here, countering the lead on Big Mom.
Yep, because he wants the attack. So was it 9 to Big Mom? No, that's a 10 into Big Mom. So yeah, he needed the 2 and the 1K.
So at least getting 2 on a hand. Oh, we got a nice little queen play here.
Queen blocker, return a Dawn, draw 2, discard 1.
That's a queen card I know it's been played ever since it's been printed.
Oh yeah, it's such a good card. You got a 5 cost 6K blocker, which is a perfect little space. Even if they swing 7, you can block in 2K out of that. So keep the queen on board, and then you also get the cycle with the draw 2, discard 1.
Yeah, well, I remember when I was first playing blockers, we always like the 0 attack players. Like most of the blockers had ability had just 0. So it's really interesting seeing a blocker with actual strength that you can actually use to defend.
Yeah, I forget I forget what the math was on like how they do certain like cost of cards and things like that. It's like if it costs something, then you factor in ability or a counter ability. And if it doesn't have either of those, it gets an extra 1,000 to the power.
Okay. Or we're gonna just get another slap to full 10.
There we go.
The Big Mom 10
drop Mom. And he's gonna ask him, "You want to get rid of that?" Yeah, you do, because you don't have an option. And it's got now again back to full life. Wow, a little 5K swing
back and forth. He's got to be feeling real good, especially with all the triggers that he has in his deck.
Oh, yeah, and again he dropped that 12, having 3 8K swings as well behind that.
Going against 2, and he's 8 so many of Jeff's resources here. All right, so we got a block here.
Counter out
from the lead. 5. So we got another
this is an 8K.
8K coming to lead.
So one of those blockers is going, or is that life?
Or do you think this is, no, they still need 2 cards. So here goes Uda.
Go, block with Uda.
You know that he's tapping it appropriately because that's how the blocker effect actually works, right? You have to tap to indicate that you're going to be blocking.
Taking that one. We got another 8 coming in our face, potentially.
We know that last one's a trigger card.
Oh, we're passing. All right.
Interesting. Well, and Katakuri not swinging. That's an interesting play.
Oh, it's probably one of the ones that he doesn't want to give Jeff any more options.
Sure.
So he knows what he gave him a 2K. That Diamante is not an option because he got rid of it with the Big Mom. So, why give him extra resources? Absolutely. Let him sweat because, next turn he either has to find a way to hit you 6 times.
Okay. I mean, this is huge.
And that is another reason why you wouldn't swing with everything because, again, he can Dofi, and that's another body that he can block. So, Dofi, the big boss monster for this, 10 cost on play, he can stop 3 things from attacking next turn.
Wow.
Including your leader. Oh, we got the reject trigger. It was just draw 1 card.
All right, so notably he's only going to get 2. And so it rested 3 characters, including the leader, for the whole next turn. Wow. That is a great Doffy play.
Oh, yeah, back to back, it is intensely impressive. But again, see, here it is, the reject. He's probably going to go for that life. Last life gone. So now Jeff has to answer an 8K, a 12K, and a potential Actually, yeah. I mean,
I'm just rereading the birdcage here. All right.
So you got
what is that, 13K?
That's 12K. 12K to face.
12K to face.
12 and 14. Not many people can.
Oh, we can tap in 2, so we're gonna be able to save it here.
Off white. We're gonna search. So that's 4. Bringing him up to 9.
Still needs how many?
He's gonna need a lot more than that.
Okay.
9, 10.
Looked like he was going.
So he's searching. He's grabbing another Dofi.
Okay.
Searching that. So he's got 9. Is he gonna block? What's he gonna do? 10, 11, 12. Okay, you had it. 13.
There's 13, but can he survive an overloaded Big Mom at what's that?
Yeah, he's got the blocker.
14?
He's got the blocker queen, so he'll do that. But then his only option is to play the 10 cost Dofi. And that's only 3 bodies down.
Yeah, with four hits to take the game back.
It is not looking good.
Yeah, so here we're just gonna eat that blocker, I imagine. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, Queen's off the board.
Chomp.
So now it's on Jeff can he board control this? I mean, obviously plays a 10K Doffy. He only locks up 3 attackers. Still has to worry about 2 attacks coming through and a full stack of Dawn.
So only the thing that Jeff could do. Oh, those cards don't look any good in hand either. 2K and a 1K and the Dofi. So yeah, he's gonna probably Dofi. Freeze the 10 drop, the Katakuri, and one of the smaller Big Moms, and then maybe swing the Dofi into the smaller Big Mom and hope that Ver doesn't have counter, but he most certainly does with that big old hand.
So your play here would be play the big Doffy, lock up the 3 that he already has, and then use both of attacks to try and clean up the board.
And then sit there and cope. That's my play.
But I mean, he can't hit the Big Mom, right? It's stronger than everything he has on the field. And if he plays the 10K Doffy,
he plays a 10 drop Doffy. Yeah. He'll rest three of the biggest bodies he can, and then he'll swing it with one of the 10 cost that he has on board into one of the smaller Big Moms.
Okay.
Oh, so he's not. He's thinking. He's like, oh,
maybe I don't go for the Doffy.
Maybe I don't play the Dofi.
Interesting. Okay.
Swinging 12. What are you swinging 12 at? What are you swinging 12 at? At the Katakuri. Okay. It's gone.
Katakuri's off.
Because Vern now knows that he's got 4 bodies coming up because there's no Dofi coming. Oh, we got 9.
Okay,
9,
so he went to
9
one
at
of
the 8.
The Big Moms here.
2K out, and he's gonna block. He's gonna put up a blocker.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this is definitely not gonna be enough.
I think he's conceding right now. Yeah,
he's like,
he just knew that he couldn't attack with this. That just overload the Big Mom at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do? Is there anything that can do? It's just an overloaded Big Mom right there.
No.
Yeah.
I honestly, I did not see a way out for Jeff at all. That was kind of again steamrolled, because even if he did clear the board, he's 4 life left, and then with the potential of Big Momming even more, back up to 5.
And you called us out when we did the deck tech and we started looking at it. Like the Big Mom comes down, takes that life, swaps it out there, and at the late game, then you just overload the Big Mom and crash in for game.
Just keep going.
Wow. This looks like a really fun deck.
And that was just one Big Mom.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 Big Moms, but it was one Big Mom.
2 Amora in life.
Yeah, 2 Amora. That was rough. That was rough.
That's real, John.
But again, how many life did he have? Let's see. I think he went back and down from 4 to 5, like 4 times in the whole round.
Mm-hmm. What a good game 1 here. Let's get this off here. Let's see. If they decide, I guess he's just gonna.
He's just like, look at this heap. Oh my god, how am I gonna play that?
Both players taking the mulligan. Okay. Both of these are extremely experienced players too. I feel like these guys have been playing themselves the entire creation of this game.
Oh yeah, I mean Jeff is always down for a match whenever everything's said and done. Ver is also down for a match to play when everything's said and done.
Right.
These guys love the game. They love to play, and it shows.
When I was just a lurker back in the day, when I was like, hey, look, I got this really cool card from OP1, and you were playing with that proxied your favorite deck, the proxied.
The days of the proxy deck, cutting cards out of paper, putting in front of energy cards. Let's go.
And just try to build up the community. And I was like watching you guys from a distance and just saying, oh, where's this going to go? Because I'm a huge One Piece fan. I knew I wanted to invest as a collector, but I didn't know how far I want to take it. I'm really happy that I did invest when I did. And I can now bring to you guys this amazing content because this game is as good as I thought it was. I used to just play with the starter decks. And I was like, the resource management, the cost of this game, the way that the back and forth works, I really enjoy it. It rewards good heads-up play. You're seeing some excellent heads-up play from both these players today. Just recognizing the lines, the way they're going to go. I mean, Jeff is just a super brain. I swear. He instantly knows what line and card he's looking for. I rarely ever see him in the tank. I swear, like, this game is just too slow for him.
So we got Baby Search for that bird cage and a 6K swing. We're going to go ahead and take it.
All right, get some extra damage in here. Just not going to use the 2-Don. Maybe defensive play?
Either he probably just didn't use it for anything, but Dofi restands 2-Don at the end of his turn every turn.
Gotcha. All right, so Vera here clearly valuing the board here. Knight says, I have my main decks, but I'm just trying to play like joke decks. That's why I built Henry Bowl, because the deck was funny. Yeah, absolutely. And I love to see new decks on the screen. You never know. One of these decks may take it off. I know that a lot of people, this seems like a good time to just take a quick break to give our little PSA about the meta. And this is something that we see in Magic, too. Everyone's like, the meta's sold. Everyone knows the best decks is. You only can play the meta. Trust me when I tell you, if you're willing to give it some time and patience and look at the weaknesses of certain decks, and I know you pointed out a few during the stream, every deck has a weakness. And there is a deck that can counter certain decks. So if it does get too heavy with maybe red, purple law, I'm willing to bet you the Japanese or even Americans can think about what's available and come up with a good strategy that can win.
Yeah, it's called a ban hammer.
Yeah. Get that ban. But I think that you play in these off-meta decks, sometimes it gives you ideas of some of the random cards that you don't normally see in gameplay.
And again, I'll say this, and I know a lot of other content creators will say this as well. Like, the reason why the meta decks are the meta decks is because in these big 8, 9, 6, even 6-round events, they're the decks that will be the most consistent. You will see the same lines regardless of what you do. But in, these store events where it's best of one for 3-4 rounds,
variance plays a bigger.
You do get these off-meta decks that could pop off. Yeah. But may not pop off for 8 rounds.
Sure. And these longer matches. Yeah. And that makes sense. I think that's why I really enjoy this community, because we can see and we're not just seeing everyone playing Sakazuki saying, well, this is the deck that wins 8 rounds of One Piece play. And you get to see the variance in here. And I think that variance does take a big play in here. You can have a good lucky day. I've seen some people with some just what seemed like god-awful decks that they were playing, and it just, they did it.
They pop off, man.
Just absolutely pop off with these decks. And I think that there is still some originality. Obviously, I'm just now getting into the game. I'll see it myself. But I'm willing to bet you there's some super brainchilds, maybe some Jeffs out there that have seen some better plays and know how to counter it.
I mean, Jeff's already doing the big play. He knows RP loss coming, so he's setting himself up with that perfect counter with that bird cage.
Right? All right, let's get back into gameplay. Thanks for that break.
So we got Burgess playing the Kikunojo Cold out.
No, it's last time that came out that the bird cage was in place. We didn't get to see a whole lot of attacks from this.
We didn't get to see a whole lot of attacks from it, but at the same time, Bird doesn't really want to keep it too without defense, because Jeff does need to be at 3 life in order for it to start it at. Oh, there we go, bird cage. Never mind.
Bird cage right back on play. So notably, we're only going to get 1 swing.
Well, let's hope it takes the life, because then if he gets him down to 3, Kikunojo becomes a null target. You don't want to hit it. And there we go, big 9.
All right, so really either trying to bait out a lot of counters.
He's trying to bait out that one event. There we go. Big +4, and then a search. Whiff. You hate to see it. And I think that was 3 queens.
3 blockers at the bottom of his library.
Damn.
Good utility cards, too.
To quote one of our local players, Justice, Jeff should have shuffled better.
Get good, screw up. All right, we got 8K going in.
That's going to be a 9 because he gets the extra 1 from looking at taking Pixies.
Yep. Instantly let that go. Yeah. Imagine Jeff right now trying to get his resource pool back up.
And now that Kikinojo is live, it will heal Ver if he does try to take it out through KO.
Oof.
Yeah, I know, it's tough.
Yeah. Just so much life gain in here. 3 to 4. We're going to see Jeff in the tank here. He only has normally 2 more turns of that birdcage active.
Mm-hmm.
Divine says, since I'm just starting, I'm trying to find a deck that's best suits me and definitely liking Purple Luffy, but I really do want to build Yamato or Bonnie. What do you think?
Purple Luffy will probably be the most budget friendly because it's not in the meta.
Okay.
Bonnie, if you're starting out, that's going to be tough. It utilizes a lot of the older cards, specifically 8-drop Captain Eustace from OP01.
Mm-hmm.
And if people aren't familiar with that, is on play, you can rest the Eustace and play a 3 cost or less. And then if you add a Dawn to him, it's essentially a taunt ability. So you have to hit the Eustace Kid.
Mm.
So the idea is you put the Eustace Kid down behind a wall of blockers, and then they have to swing into an 8K.
Oh, wow.
And we've already seen that it's hard to swing into a
So
6K.
Yeah, let alone. So this is actually, Ver just looked at his own life for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that that's an indication of anything? If you're a player and you see him looking at your own life, do you think he's desperate for maybe some kind of key component to his deck? What do you think?
So to quote the great Whizzle Pizzle, if you see a Katakuri move the top left to the bottom, automatically assume it's one of the on-play blockers or Capone Beige. Because again, the deck is just so loaded with so many good trigger cards. It's almost hitting a Katakuri is like punching a cactus.
And notice he just hit a life gain here. Was it that?
That was from the Big Mom that I believe he played. So again, Jeff choosing to offer charity to Ver.
What a charitable person.
Back up to full. I mean, Jeff's a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
Absolutely.
He wants to see the game go longer. He wants to punch you more.
So to summarize for Divine over here, which one of those 3 decks do you think he should really focus on?
I mean, if you want to stay in meta, definitely the Bonnie.
Bonnie? Okay.
Yamato is really fun. Really, really high pace, a lot of double attacks, a lot of rush. Well, one rusher and Hody Jones, but still pretty dope. And then Pluffy, I would say it's a nice little rogue deck, not really making too many sightings out there right now, but still pretty good. Solid deck. We just saw last match. It did wonders.
Hey Joe says One Piece Sim. Yeah, we've seen a lot of people actually at the live stream doing those sims.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good idea to really get some extra practice in when you need to before major competitions.
Or even just play testing decks, feeling out what you want before you really invest into buying singles.
Mm-hmm. I think Oda was really a head up on that. Like, I know that he wanted to make sure that this game was affordable to players, but also rewarding. Yeah. It's one of the best things about playing these paper games like this is you own the product at the end of the day. And Oda's huge. We got a
big counter out of something. That was a big. Oh,
it looks like it was a stacked Dolphy.
It was a huge swing. How many down is that? Let me see. What's that in the distance? Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Dawn? Dang,
he's really trying to. What do you think he's trying to protect this late in the game? I mean, there's only going to be 1 life, right?
He's probably swinging the Big Mom. Let's see, because he gave.
Oh, yeah. Protect. Yeah, that makes more sense. So we're trying to protect the Big Mom, not the life. All right, so we're just going heads up on lead here.
We're going 5, yeah, because as you can see, Ver's got all that Dawn clutch. You know what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Mom's home.
All right, so we got a block. Are we going to see it? Are we going to see Big Mom?
We're probably going to see it.
Hey, we got another scribe.
Let's go.
Dirk Jazur, thank you for subscribing. I don't know if I put you on the drawing for later. Just hit us a hey in the chat so I can keep track of it. We're going to be doing a drawing at the end of this stream. We'll
2
come find
packs. It. All right, we got turn back over. Oh, did we not do anything? What's going on?
Interesting.
Yeah, did we not play the Big Mom? What's happening here?
Appreciate the follow, though. Seriously. Whenever you get an opportunity, just hit us hey in the chat. That's all we're asking. We're going to put you in the drawing. We got 2 packs to give away tonight. Chances for some good manga art, some good potential for money. I've been hot with some of these packs, I'll tell you. So we got a full stack 10 here. We're going to see a full stack Dofi coming in?
No, the only two things here to go grab is the Kikunojo and that wood is dying next turn.
Yeah.
And
well, at the end of turn here, because the birdcage closing here.
Ooh,
got the removal spell.
We got a removal spell. That's a purple new removal spell. Pretty nasty stuff. So that's gone. The Kikunojo is going to be gone next turn.
Let's see a nice little clean board state here. Coming at life, I assume?
8 to life. Yep, most definitely.
Yeah, don't mind wasting resources against that.
Oh, even more.
All right, so really, I mean, you saw how much Vera valued that Big Mom. So smart heads up play to get that removal spell on the play to get it off the board. So knowing next turn he's going to be at full Dawn, and that means bye birdcage.
Bye birdcage, and we got 5 Dawn going down. Big 11k swing. He's got a Pixies. What's that?
Take a look at the leader ability.
You can
leave it. Yeah.
You can have that. It's all right.
I noticed that Jeff was running a little low on resources here. Saw only about 3 or 4 cards in hand. So this is a massive swing. When you're sitting at 2 or 3 cards in hand, what's your math here? What's the math you're usually thinking? Like, I got to stack up for.
Oh, 2, 3, 7s and 8s.
All right.
The 7 will demand 2, 8 will demand the 3.
Mm-hmm.
We have Gadatsu. It's gonna KO something on play, depending on your opponent's life. So he's got the 2. Is dead. I believe that stops the sugar from actually doing her on play effective. If you rest her, rest the character on play.
Makes sense. The last turn of the birdcage, so this is
Ver's getting healed.
Yeah. I imagine Jeff's got to come up with something. How many rushers does Jeff play? None.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So this is pretty much the board state.
Rushers are actually no. I think he does play. He's played some. I think 2 Hody Joneses, I believe.
I remember seeing some Hody Jones.
Yeah. Not a lot of rush cards in most colors outside of red.
Yeah.
Was it?
I know that they tried to keep it there, kind of to a color spectrum, but then realized that the rush ability was just too powerful.
Oh yeah.
Not to share it with some other people. You want to have like that fear factor, if you will, by having a rusher on the back end, just to make sure you can get that extra last bit of life. I'm just thinking like,
this last weekend I actually saw a Delphi player win with an Usopp rusher, which nobody runs. And it was even a one-off in their deck twice, which is just wild.
That's that variance for you. It's one copy of that card, but it shows just how valuable rushers are. Just that hidden math that most people aren't prepared for. And that's where you get them. You get them. Yeah, everyone's in the tank wondering, what's the math I got to do for my attack? What's for end defense? What do I need to keep up in hand versus what I want to play?
We got 8 to lead. We're going 8. I'm trying to eliminate that life before it heals. Oh, and we got a trigger. A blocker. Free little chump blocker.
Wow, here we go. Vera says, is blue have a rusher? I believe, blue has a rusher.
We got Usopp.
Yeah.
Running away. He's crying.
Here's Hody Jones. Here's what we were talking about.
Crying those manly tears. Running away.
Hody Jones going to come in.
He's going
to put rested both, I assume.
So yeah, he rests. He can rest up to 2/4 costs if Jeff takes a life. Oh, another blocker trigger.
It's not only does he have these life, but he's got all these extra cards to add extra blockers in here. So Hody Jones, a great heads up play here, but yet we're going to see the entire board state go away. Wow. That birdcage really put in work right there.
Oh yeah.
And it only killed notably the rested.
Yes, only the rested 5Ks.
So we got full Dawn here coming from Vera. Let's see how he's going to try to. It seems like Jeff is stabilized. Yeah.
You got 2 Dawn up, so he always with 2 Dawn up, you want to respect the fact that he can block for 9.
So we got 5. Looks
like do reject to get rid of that life.
That last life
takes the life. So now
2 major swings in attack because Jeff is low on resources here.
Could be what he does, or just one big swing and then.
Do you divide or do you overload?
If it were me,
It's 8K.
I'm cheeky enough to just swing into the Hody Jones with everything.
Okay.
Just to stress everything out, keep the game going. But
so what's happening here?
Ver has swung 9 into lead. Jeff has used 2 Dawn to trigger Punk Gibson, which will give him +4, and then it'll rest a 4K or less, which rests in Sanji.
Mm-hmm.
But again, because Ver swinging 9, that only brings him 9. He needs an extra 1K, which is what the sugar is for.
Gotcha.
And at the end, Ver putting down the extra blocker, kind of telling Jeff, you either got another Hody Jones or
this is bust.
Or you're not living next turn.
Yeah. Massive swings from him. It looks like 3 cards in hand on Jeff's side of the field here.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking at separating, so he doesn't have a big 10K drop. I feel pretty good when I see the opponents separate the stacks of Dons like that, knowing that they don't have a big game changer like maybe Big Mom or something. But I imagine even coming from Ver's side of the field, Big Mom does nothing at this point. He's already got the last bit of life for that last reject. So,
I mean, outside of just healing himself now at this point, yeah. So going for the Sanji, eliminating that blocker for him next turn with the Hody Jones. What do we got?
Also just the one with that attack coming in too. He's only got that 1 bit, so you don't want to see 2 overloaded attacks, right?
I'm going for 8 into lead. And this is kind of the danger because, like, you know, he could you could stress the life and try to get him low, but every one of those lives is a potential attacker that can come at you next turn as well.
Especially with so many different triggers.
Mm-hmm. So if we're choosing to block, and then we're playing out the Diamante to have an extra blocker out.
Okay. Restabilize, he controlled the board state just like he thought.
Passing the turn, we got 4 Dawn up, so it's kind of telegraphing that Jeff's got at least 2 of those nasty 4-cost defense spells. 2 of those 4K defense spells in hand.
So does Ver overload? I mean, he's got a blocker on that side, right?
No, the blocker got knocked out.
So Diamante. Okay. Oh, here's a big 10K Big Mom. So we're going to get a gain of life. Doesn't actually have an option, right?
No,
nothing. Charity is the only choice. Mm-hmm. Where I kind of said that they like she doesn't do anything, but this is actually.
So yeah, 10K Big Mom. There's no choice. You gain a life and your opponent discards 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the 7 cost that is a choice. But, you know, for kind of, a little bit of a dangerous spot right here.
Yeah. He's got to put down a Hody Jones, a Diamante.
Mm-hmm.
He can stack up the Uda. What's Uda? 6K? 5K?
Yeah, so there is a chance here for Jeff if the math is right. If he, depending on how many cards Ver has in hand, and then on top of,
Got 2Ks on his hand?
That's not happening. That's not happening now.
Yeah. He would need another Hody Jones. Yeah.
He would need another Hody Jones, and even then, so Ver's got 2 cards in hand. With an extra 3, you can block a 5 and a 6K easy.
And note that some of his triggers in his pool might be another blocker too, so the math is not in Jeff's favor.
And here we go. We have, pretty sure Jeff just asked how many 2Ks are in that discard pile. Because again, discard is free information for both players. You can.
Is there a basic math that most One Piece players use for 2K counts? Like, I need to include this many.
So again, we're still pretty early in the game, so people are meta decking. You know, these decks are pretty tight. So if you are in the know, you kind of have an idea. Like, oh, you're running 12 2K counters, or this deck's running only 8 2K counters. You look at that. You look at that deck. You look at that trash, and they got 6 out of 12 in there. Now you can try to
mathematically see what feasible. Oh, here we go. We got one of those triggers.
Exactly what we didn't want to see.
Yeah, right off the top here.
Extra body.
So now we got
a 12K and 2 5K swings with 10 Dawn available for him.
Wow.
And we're giving up a 2K for that, kind of telling Jeff, like, yeah, this hand is full of counters.
Yeah.
This hand is full of utility, and I gave up something that it's pretty good for me. Oh, what are we gonna see?
Let's see. All right.
So we got Ver.
See the line here. This is a 5K?
He's got 3 attacks, and he's Jeff's got 2 blockers and 4 Dawn up. So yeah, again, pretty sticky math because he's got to at least respect the 9.
Just needs one of these attacks to get through. And also, like you said, has to get through. There's 2 cards left from Jeff's side. One of them, he's kind of showcasing a 4. Do you think there could be a bluff, or do you think this is just like a guaranteed lead to tell that you know that Jeff's got the 4?
I mean, even if you still want to respect it, because he's only used a couple of. Again, he's got so many of them in his deck. Like you said, he's got like 4 Punk Gibson, 3 Off-White, 3 Spiderweb. It's just I think it's 3 Gibson, 3 Spiderweb, and then maybe 4 of the Off-White. So that's so many 4K counters that he just has. Chances of him having them, pretty good.
All right.
So you got Burn the Tank trying to do the math.
Run it through his head here. Deep in the tank here. Just
a lot of options for Ver, though, in his deck. He's got 1,000 Bolts of Maru that could rest the Uda, so that's a body he doesn't have to worry about. And then it's 2 for 3 on power. Okay, so we're going with 12. Is that into the Hody?
Interesting. So Ver taking a turn to try to clean the board state up.
Really stressing that hand. Yeah, because either you block, counter out, and then you don't have that counter for the 2 lethal swings coming at you with those 2 5s. Okay, yeah, there we go. That's one of the. All right.
Oh, and unrests it.
Yes, the Spiderweb unrest. So it eliminates it as a target. Don't know if that would have been what he wants to do. Well, no, he's got 2 swings now, so. Ooh.
There we go. Okay.
We're searching. We're looking for stuff.
Maybe a 7K Big Mom, you think? Get himself some extra life?
No, because again, if you have the choice, you would choose eliminate a life, and then
because
it would be rendered null and void. Exactly.
Okay.
Get another Parasparrow.
Okay. Is it a blocker?
It's just a 3K body, 3 cost 5K body.
Okay. It's a nice little attacker against 5K leads.
Ver might be playing it down just to kind of fill the board. As if I remember right, Parasparrow doesn't have counter, so could have been the only Big Mom card he had. We go. Oh,
we're gonna overload here. We got a 5,
a big 10K swing.
So likely eating up one of those blockers.
Give me one of those blockers.
Leaving how much would he have left? 5, 6. Jeez, he's got only 4 left. So let's see if he's got himself a blocker. There, yeah, that's my only choice. He has to go overload just to get rid of some of these blockers. And I imagine he's trying to get, because these blockers are great attackers too.
Yep.
So just get the attacks off the field.
Because potentially Ver could live at it too. Ooh, here we go.
He's gonna dig deep to try and find another defense here.
Oh, the whiff.
Oh, the tiltometer.
All net. Oh.
Does he? All right. So I imagine here Jeff is trying to protect his blocker here, yes?
Yeah. So he's up to 9. He needs 2K. There you go. And he gives it up. Oh, because he knows he needs it next turn.
All right, so we're going in lead.
He's gonna big 10.
Take a look at his last card here.
10K swing. What are we hitting? It's the Abate.
There goes one blocker.
It's gone.
So now 3 attacks.
Yeah, it's the Jeff thumbs up. Well. See, he's kind of seeing the painting on the wall, writing on the wall. Like he's got to hit with everything. 3 cards in hand. He could do it. Ver could be bricked up.
So wow. I mean, he does have 3 attackers in here. Is that a blocker?
No, none of these are blocker. And Jeff knows that one of those cards is non-counter. It's no counter. Yep.
All right, so Oder
doing the good math. Nice and 8. Demanding all 3 of those cards if they are what he thinks it is.
So Vera checking his graveyard. Interesting choice. Is there something from his trash bin that he can use to?
He might be looking through just to see what he can get, or Jeff might have asked how many 2Ks do you have so he can really suss out these next 2 hits that have to land.
Okay. All right. So it was an ask by Jeff to find out and try to get that
potentially.
All right. So we're going to take the hit.
Ver's going to take it, and he's going to trigger 2,000 volts of Mario. I believe you.
Does this allow him to rest that Cody Jones?
You discard a card, and you get to 2 cards, and you get to add a life. So now making the math that much harder for Jeff.
All right.
Swinging one more.
The card he got.
Kikunojo.
Trigger.
There we go. Nothing Ver can do with 1 card in hand.
So Jeff just wins this one.
Jeff just takes it.
Wow. All right. We got a tie ball game here with 1 minute left. Interesting. I don't know what happened here. Did they stop the camera and then had to restart here? Did they go to time?
What? No, the match is over.
Ver won the first one. Jeff won the second one. Did I get that wrong?
Yeah. No, that's right.
No. Or did they go to time? Vera, can you help us out here? Because this is a 1-1. Did I miss a life gain point here? Because... All right, you ended up in the draw. Okay. So just a 1-1 draw here. All right. I mean, some great heads-up play. Well done, Vera. It's fantastic heads-up play here. So, yeah, it looks like that's going to be the end of round 2. We've got one more round left, and we'll be right back.